I'd like to introduce Charlie Cheng with Kilopass right here, talking about NVM.
Thanks very much. So, welcome to DAC, everybody, and my first time presenting the slides today. So, I'm going to talk about non-volatile memory and IP. So, let's get started. So, just a little bit about Kilopass. We have about 50 some employees, headquartered in San Jose, California. Since 2008, when we were first in the product, the company has grown 10x. We have 80 fundamental patents, most of them in non-volatile memories, although we have some new patents that are not in the non-volatile memories. 10 foundry partners and 5 security partners. We have probably by now more than 170 customers and 400 sockets. And because we're in some of the DRAMs that are shipped out of Korea, we have well over 10 billion chips that are shipped using our technology. So if you want to keep permanent data on your chip, so data that doesn't go away when your power goes off, there are a number of possibilities, all the way from the least expensive like a ROM or a foundry provided fuse, external EPROMs or E-squares, on-chip embedded flash to OTPs. There are actually a lot of different possibilities you can use. Some of them have very specific purposes, and others are sort of more general purpose. And if you look at it, most chip designs have the following sort of requirements. Does it, add manufacturing cost? So additional step adds additional cost. If you go down there, what's the bit cell size? If you just have a couple hundred bits, probably don't care. If you have a couple megabits, it really matters. So the bit cell size is important. Do you need to update your data? If you need to update a lot of times, you probably don't want to use something that's one-time programmable only. And the next one would be, does the technology scale down into the small geometries? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and it's very important to know, the technology, whether it scales. And the last one is, is there a lot of flexibility in the design itself? So this table, and I won't go through each one of them, gives you sort of the available technology across the X direction and the considerations going down the Y directions. And obviously we feel that, the one-time programmable technology, doesn't require any additional manufacturing steps. It's a very small bit cell. It has a one-time endurance only, but it does scale down to, in our technology right now, 10 nanometers, and it has a lot of design flexibilities that you can have. So if you don't need a lot of updates, just 1 or 2 times or 10 times, I think one-time programmable memory is a very viable choice for you to consider. So what are we looking at here? So if you look at, comparing us to fuse, foundry fuse, or in DRAM cases of laser fuse, the thing that's really interesting about Antifuse is that it starts out actually relatively similar in density, but as you get bigger and bigger, Antifuse is a very cost-effective solution for on-chip data. So if you look at, Samsung DRAM or Hynix DRAM or Renesas embedded DRAM or, SMIC 28 nanometer high-K middle gate fuse, the technology that they use for fuse actually is Kilopass fuse because it provides a very small, very high density, and it provides a very good scalability. Well, this is a pretty poor slide. You can barely see it. So in terms of uh, having the anti-fuse available in every node, I think you would see that we support global foundries, Samsung, SMIC, TSMC, and UMC in the advanced nodes, and we are right now working on 10 nanometer with one of the foundries. So in terms of availability, um, the Kilopass anti-fuse is very available. What's more is that in some of these nodes, we're actually the only non-volatile memory that's available from the foundry. Um, so, uh, so if we look at a mobile phone as a platform, and our anti-fuse is actually used outside of mobile phone as well. But if we just use mobile phone as a platform, in the from calibration to code storage to yield, security, code configurations, boot code, repair data, uh, OTP and anti-fuse OTP specifically can be used in many different places. And we have design wins in each one of these areas. And you can also see that from this platform, if you go into an MCU platform or industrial platform or even the server data center platform, the OTP actually can be used in many different areas. Um, so don't know if you care about Internet of Things, but if you do, there's this is a kind of a interesting way to look at an IoT. So in the analog side of it, the sensor interface records the data, and from wireless, it also receives and sends data. In the power management unit, it tries to manage the power. What's in common is that there's a low power MCU that runs application software. Well, the software has to be somewhere. In the lowest cost form, if the IoT is a single die solution, the software has to be somewhere that retains its data when the power is off. Okay. And in some cases, if your IoT actually does not have any battery, it uses harvesting of the energy. There are times when you just don't have any energy. So that means the power will go out completely. So in our opinion, in IoT, what's very important is a very low power form of non-volatile memory. The power consumption of the non-volatile memory has to be so low that when you harvest the energy, it has just enough to run the data. Um, and so it's one of the areas that when the volume goes up, we hope to be very pervasive in the IoT space. The next one is an interesting one. So in the security areas, so the way the anti-fuse non-volatile memory works is that the breakdown occurs in the Z direction, not in the X and Y direction. So in your house or in your car, if you look at a fuse box, you can actually see right away when a fuse is broken, because in the X and Y direction, there is a breakage. But in anti-fuse, the breakage is in the Z direction. So it's very, very hard to tell when you decap the chip. So, and many companies have tried, the US government have tried, whether it's passive, semi-passive, or invasive attack, it simply is very, very difficult to hack the data for non-volatile memory. And I think so as a result, whether it's a TV, set-top box, mobile phone, secure transaction, wherever you need a secure identification, non-volatile memory, especially anti-fuse non-volatile memory, is a very popular choice. And I would say this picture definitely is sort of trying to reach out to say that IoT is going to be everywhere. I would say right now we are, even at Kilopass, the visibility we have in the market is relatively limited. We can see a lot of low energy Bluetooth, low energy Wi-Fi chipsets, and we're designed into several of those. In the industrial and infrastructure side of it, we also see activities in that. And I think that's where we're going to spend most of our time and effort. Smart home, mobile access, and especially wearable side of it, there's a lot of products out there, and hopefully you guys are wearing one of the wearables to help keep you healthy. Um, the market is to us not where we focus on, and so I think for Antifuse OTP, we are very focused on the industrial, the infrastructure, um, and we have a lot of design success in Bluetooth and low energy Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Um, we'll see what happens on the wearable side of it. Um, I guess this is my last slide. So hope you guys can explore the chip estimate website and come to our website. We are working a lot on the next generation of our product line, and we hope to have some very busy second half of this year announcing our next generations of product. Thank you very much for your attending.